What we do know about what is arguably the last genuine duel in Scotland is undoubtedly intriguing. On Thursday, the 18th of February 1841, 5 men left an inn in Pennycook and travelled a few miles south to the Wolston Muir. History knows 2 of them by their initials alone, Mr. L and Dr. H. These 2 men were to be the principals in a duel, with 2 of the others acting as their seconds, and the 5th man, a surgeon, to tend any injured. They had arranged to meet on a quiet spot, known as a field of honour, where nobody in authority could disturb them. It had been the second's task to find the suitably secluded field, if possible on disputed land, to avoid any claims about trespass. The timing was important as well. Duelists often favoured dawn, partly because the light would be sufficiently faint to help hide the participants, and partly because it would give a full night's contemplation after what might have been a drunken challenge. Men sober at dawn may not have the same desire to murder a colleague that they had when in their cups, or the same courage to face a prospect of a yard of steel through their innards. In this instance, the seconds had not been quite smart enough, for a hint of their intended purpose had leaked out at the inn. 2 men followed them out of Pennycook, and on to the moor. The duellists looked behind them at the shadowy figures on horseback and wondered if they should continue. They were both quite prepared to risk their lives in an honourable duel, but neither cared to end their existence dangling at the end of a rope. There was neither honour nor dignity in that. Accordingly, the duelling party returned to the inn in Pennycook, then slipped away again, split up, and travelled separately to a new duelling site, so making it very difficult for the 2 men to follow them at all. When they reached the designated location, they discussed how they should proceed. There were various types of duels, and they could not decide which was best, with Dr. H favouring the French system, while Mr. L wanted the more straightforward British method. Eventually, they resorted to the traditional system of tossing a coin, with the winner deciding how the participants should kill each other. Somebody tossed the coin. Dr. H.'s second called for heads and nodded as Queen Victoria's profile stared up at them from the grass. With that detail disposed of, the seconds and the surgeon withdrew hastily to the right, putting considerable distance between themselves and the participants. Dr. H and Mr. L stood back to back, each holding a long-nosed pistol. It was the first time either had been in such a situation, so they would be nervous, possibly trembling as they heard the signal to begin. They paced forward, counting each step. 1, 2, 3. With Dr. H the faster walker. 4, 5, 6. Or perhaps the more keen to get the affair over with. 7, 8, 9. He was first to reach the required number of steps. 10. Then fired even as he turned. But either he was too anxious or a very poor shot, for the ball was well wide, passing between the 2 no doubt startled seconds. Mr. L was more composed, turned, aimed, and fired seconds later, with the ball speeding in the right direction, but missing Dr. H as it whizzed past his hand. According to the rules of duelling, that exchange of fire could have ended the affair with honour satisfied, but the challenger had the right to a second chance. So the entire rigmarole was gone through again. It must have been harder to hit with a pistol than it appears in Hollywood films, as both duellists missed again. So Dr. H decided to end the nonsense by writing a note that agreed that Mr. L had made some now forgotten anatomical discovery related to physiological phenomenon. After that one brief venture into the limelight, both duellists withdrew into obscurity so dense that history did not even record their names.